Welcome! You're listening to Making Relationships Work. We're a company focused on women and their marriage. We lead and teach women just like you how to grow into and access, whenever you need to, your wise woman's self. The part of you who is deeply connected to your purpose, your innate wisdom, and your husband and family. We teach women in marriages how to rebuild trust and connection, to work through conflicts no matter how deep, no matter how painful, and to lead your marriage to a place where the two of you experience marriage mastery. This podcast is about learning the systems and techniques that truly work to reconnect you back into your marriage so that you can experience the freedom that comes with a masterful marriage. Since this podcast is totally free, if you're getting tons of value and you want to support us and make sure that you get more of this good stuff, subscribe below and rate and review our podcast today. Now, on to the show. Hey, it's Meg. I'm here today. We're going to start talking about a really important topic. We're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about finances when they're not working. So, not so much about when you don't have enough money, more about what you do when you have differences in how you want to handle money in a marriage and what that means. Hello, Leilani. I'm a tiny bit late this morning, Leilani, but we're here, we're happening. So I want to talk about differences in finances. I want to talk about differences in money. I want to talk about differences in comfort around spending money. And I want to talk about the impact that has on a marriage, because truly one of the greatest stumbling blocks couples have is around differences in money, because money represents so many things. I think that if you were to get a pen and get a piece of paper and write down all the different ways that money is represented in your life, you would be able to write out around 100. And herein lies the complexity around how money can get in the way. So let's dive in. So if you grab yourself a pen and paper and you start playing along at home, I want you to write down as many different ways that money shows up as something that means something. So the first things that come to my mind are things like health. So you can afford to pay for healthcare. It shows up in terms of safety, a roof over your head, a car to drive, school fees to pay, groceries to get, camps to pay for the kids. You know, all of a sudden money starts to take on a symbol of what you can provide. And not only that, it also really represents safety. And so I just reeled off 6 or 7 different things that money reveals itself as. But what's underneath with money is usually around a sense of safety, because money is one of those things that allows you to buy the feeling of safety. And safety is, I have somewhere to sleep, I have something warm to wear, and I'm warm at night when it's cold. I am able to come and buy the things that I need. I can get food, I can get fresh water, I can get access to healthcare, I can look after, from a safety perspective, myself, my husband, our children. I can donate at church or to charities that make me feel like I'm adding value in that way too. So money is represented by up to 100 different beliefs about what it is and what it's useful for. But what we're really talking about when we boil it down to is safety. And so if you're finding that money is a topical issue for your husband and you might want to start thinking about, what are we really talking about? What is it that we're really talking about? Because it's not about your daughter's dance shoes, although that might be what the argument's about. And it's not about paying the bill on time or a few days late, although that might be what you're talking about. And it's not about, what's another idea? It's not about filling the gas all the way up or halfway up based on kind of trying to get the best price and manage the gas prices. It's not about that. It's about more than that. Hello, Beth. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Leilani and Misty. And so this is why money as a topic is incredibly big and incredibly commonly painful, because money represents so many things, and most of those things represent our ability to feel safe in the world. And it also means that if two people have different experiences in what safety is, then they are going to want to fulfill that. Yeah? And so the problem is that it's not really about money. Money is the symbol or the symptom of what we're talking about. We're actually talking about safety and existing in a world and feeling as though no matter what happens, we're kind of okay. And that's what you're really talking about. And so what happens to a couple who have been stuck in this kind of conversation for a long period of time? When that happens, which it happens all the time, when that happens, and I am working with that couple or the woman, eventually what we work out is that it's not about the money. It's about what it means, and it's about being safe to have those needs met. So when you are doing a thoughtful kind of analysis about your own money, and you're doing a thoughtful analysis about the bumps in the road that you and your husband kind of are hitting, excuse me, you'll want to be thinking about, if this is on the surface about a pair of gym shorts that I bought on sale, and we're talking about why did I spend $50 on them? Or are we actually talking about what it feels like to have $50 less in my bank account? And they're quite different conversations. Do you hear the difference? One is about a pair of shorts. So you can argue all day about needing a pair of shorts, yeah? So you can go round and round and round. And the other one is around, what does it mean if we have $50 less in our bank account? And that, my loves, is actually the problem that you want to be talking about. Because if you're not talking about what it feels like to have $50 less, then you're missing the whole point. Because it's not about the gym shorts, it's not about the ballet shoes, it's not about when you fill up gas and gallon prices and all of that kind of stuff. It's not about that. That is the symptom to tell you that you're missing something more important. Do you see? That is just trying to get your attention. It's trying to alert you that there is something different that needs to be done. And so what happens to a couple who don't ever get beyond the symptom, who don't get beyond the $50 on the gym shorts or the new pair of ballet shoes, or why are we sending both kids to camp this year? It's so expensive, you know? It's not about the camp. It's about what it means when that money comes out of the bank account. That's what we want to talk about. And so couples who get stuck in fighting about this are defending themselves against feeling unsafe in the world. Do you see? Do you really get this? Because this is important. And when you don't get that, you will get stuck in like this very circular argument about how you needed the gym shorts and how they were on sale and they're a great brand and they'll last you a long time and the color was just what you were looking for, and why can't you be happy for me? You'll get stuck in that. And the other person will be like, you don't need another pair of shorts. You have a whole drawer full. You never then here's where it goes funny. You never exercise anyway. Why can't you just wear the shorts you've got? And then on we go. And so all of a sudden, we're not talking about what the real problem is. We're talking about what the symptom is. And anyone can argue all day about whether you need something or you don't need something, or whether it was a good deal or it wasn't a good deal. And it just tends to escalate to a point where the emotional connection between a husband and wife, which is so important, gets broken. And it gets broken. And because the gym shorts are already bought, they're already being shipped by Amazon Prime, which I love, by the way. They're already being shipped in. They're already going to arrive, and the money's already debited the account. And so the person who didn't buy the shorts, who wishes that you didn't buy the shorts, is left saying, well, what can I do? I have $50 less than I'm comfortable with. And here is the problem. You do that once a week, once a month, twice a month, and you do that every month for 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, and so on. And over a period of time, these small decisions about shorts turn into this kind of hairy, scabby, prickly, moldy, kind of infested conversation that has no successful endpoint. They build and they build and they build and they build, and all of a sudden your beautiful husband and you are starting to call each other names. You're saying things like, you are not good with money. You are tight with money. And it becomes this identity that you put on each other, which is nothing about the $50 gym shorts anymore, but all about what it feels like to be married to someone that is different to you. And it takes a long, slow burn, my loves. 6 years usually before people get help, yeah? 6 years of having an issue that is hairy and messy and painful, and it gets to the point where you hide stuff. You hide those gym shorts. You pay in cash. You find a way to, and women do this all the time. Oh, it cost only $25 and the rest is school supplies. And it wasn't. It's actually not what it is. But it tends to start to bring in behaviors that are deceptive and intimacy or connection breaking. And what we do over a long period of time is add small incremental purchases that we hide, or that we downplay, or that we, I guess, say we got a different way. We actually lie about them. And what does that do between you and your husband? Let me tell you, it does nothing good. It does nothing good. And I know that I've used the woman as the person who's bought the shorts. But it's important that you understand that it could be either way reversed. I just started this story in this way. Does that make sense? So it could be your husband that does this buying kind of pattern, and it's you who doesn't want it to be bought, or you're the one who notices that you've got 6 boxes of Cheerios, and why are we buying another carton just because they're on sale? And so it doesn't have to be about gym shorts. It can be about everyday things. But essentially what you're talking about is a problem where you're missing the point of the conversation, and a problem that is never resolved. And what happens is these layers of resentment, frustration, annoyance, shame, jealousy, fury, they layer and layer in these thin layers. You almost can't tell the difference between how you felt a month ago and today, except if you really think about it, you're probably more frustrated a month later. And this is the incremental step towards the 6-year kind of demise when there's been a problem in a marriage. And finances are a really common problem because they are differences in safety. Yeah, so this is what we were talking about at the beginning. It's not about the shorts. It's about what it feels like when that money is not in the account. So what are you going to do about it, my darlings? Well, this is what we're going to talk about. Your opportunity here is to have a conversation about the differences that the two of you have around what it feels like to spend money. And to do that, you're going to have to get really open, really able to listen and understand, be a detective, kind of trying to make sense of it, yeah? And your job is to say it's not about the shorts, it's about the $50 that's not in the bank account. And if it's not in the bank account, what does that mean? And that's what you want to know. Okay? So that is the solution. The solution is to say it's not about the bank. Wait, it's not about the shorts. It's about the drop in the bank account. What does that mean? What is happening here? What are our differences? That's what you want to get to. Okay? So, my darlings, here's the thing. Finances are tricky. Differences in finances are inevitable. There are up to 100 different meanings you can make about money, and you could get started on writing those out now and you'd get to about 100. That is normal. What matters the most is that you see and understand that finances usually equal safety. If you don't get to the bottom of this topic will become bigger and hairier and messier, and the two of you will start to really disconnect from each other, and you'll make each other the vessel of your discontent. So if I'm married to Jessie or Beth or Amy, and I don't like the way that they are spending our money, then over a period of time, when I ask them not to buy the gym shorts and they still buy the gym shorts, I'm going to start to make a story up about them. And that story is not going to be a nice one. So at the beginning of your marriage, do you remember how you would be telling a wonderful story about your husband and they would tell a wonderful story about you to people that you just met? You'd tell your, this is how we met story, and this is how we got engaged story, and this is the story of our marriage, and this is the story of our first child or our first home. Those stories are really positive, yeah? But after 6 years of not having something work, a topic not work that affects your feelings of safety, my story or your story about your significant other, your husband, is not going to be positive. You'll be telling yourself, I can't trust him, he's not good enough, if only he was better in this way, my husband is not as good as my friend's husband, she's really got a husband that's all over the money and has everything divvied up, and they're making great investments and they're saving really well, and mine isn't, and we need these things, and why is he so hard? And so you get that story going. And it's really hard to undo it. It's really hard to choose to create a different story, because that story becomes part of your projected identity of your husband. And is it true? There's probably elements of truth in it. Is it fair? Probably not. Is it something that you want in your marriage? No, of course you don't. No one wants to think that about their husband, because when you think that about your husband, what does that say about you who married him? So you don't want to think that, and yet you are compelled to think that, because otherwise it makes you wrong. And you don't want to be wrong here. And so here is why money gets so messy. Do you see? And this is why we need to do something different. So I've outlined how to do that conversation already. I'm not going to say it again. So it's in here. But what I want you to do, and I'll ask Leilani to post in the link to our masterclass, I want you to start to have a different conversation around money. And I've set up the frame already for you in here. And I'm going to ask Leilani to pop the masterclass in so that you can watch that. Because when you've watched that, you'll understand a kind of different overall way of interacting. And then you can add this question on top of there. And that's going to be a really good idea for you. Okay, so watch the masterclass, then have this conversation about finances when you've got all of that understanding from the masterclass kind of built in. Then have this conversation. And if you find that you still need help because you're having trouble undoing that identity that you've projected onto each other, which is normal, you will probably need help. If you want some help with that, you can go ahead and book a free breakthrough call with us. And we will get you really clear on what's gone wrong, what the root cause is, not what the symptom is, what the root cause is, And then we will create a map with you so that you get to know exactly what to do to fix it. Okay? So that's the plan, my darlings. And I can see that there's no questions coming up today. Finances are a big one. We'll probably come back and circle this again, but this is a really good place to start. Okay, my darlings, it's time for me to go. I've got to go run my normal call with my beautiful, beautiful wise women. We start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, straight after this call, which is in 3 minutes. So that means I've got to run. All right. So nice to be with you. I'll see you on Thursday night. Much love. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you later, darlings.